So, meine Damen und Herren, wenn Sie in Berlin nicht auf Kongressen sitzen oder an der Spree hocken und sich ein kühles Bier genehmigen, viele Besucher von auswärts fahren dann auch mal so ein bisschen durch die Stadt, gucken sich Architektur an. Lohnt sich durchaus. Kleiner naja gut, Geheimtipp wäre ein bisschen viel gesagt, weil es liegt mitten am Potsdamer Platz. Aber das Otto-Bock-Haus, das ist da auf der Verlängerung Potsdamer Platz Richtung Brandenburger Tor. Ausgesprochen bemerkenswertes Gebäude. Man dachte immer, Otto Bock, die machen noch Holzbeine. Das war auch mal so nach dem Krieg, aber inzwischen ein Hochtechnologieunternehmen für Prothesen auf höchstem Niveau, weltweit. Einer dieser Hidden Champions, weltweiter, ich glaube, Marktführer, zumindest Technologieführer. Und seit Oskar Pistorius und anderen Läufern mit ihren Carbonbeinen ist das irgendwie auch so ein bisschen raus aus dieser Oh, Opa war in Stalingrad-Ecke, sondern ganz im Gegenteil, das ist einfach Leben und ausgesprochen ein positives und hat nicht mehr dieses Gammelige von früher. Ich kann mich noch erinnern, bei meinem Opa war das so ein Tabuthema. Und ich glaube, gerade der Sport holt es einfach raus aus dieser Ecke. Also Otto Bock, Hidden Champion auf allen Kontinenten der Welt unterwegs. Und was braucht man da? Um Gottes Willen, ja, eine Matrix. Das muss ja irgendwie alles organisiert sein. Unser erster Best Case heute. Best Case, Klammer auf, heißt 20 Minuten Vortrag, dann 10 Minuten Möglichkeit für Sie zu fragen. Unser erster Best Case dreht sich genau um dieses Thema. Gaurav Mishra ist Vice President of Global Sales bei Otto Bock und wird Ihnen jetzt, Achtung, auf Englisch erklären, wie man in der Matrix überlebt. Sein Thema heißt Managing Sales in an International Matrix Organization with Conflicting Sales Channels. Das klingt relativ vertraut für alle, die international unterwegs sind. Schön, dass er da ist, von Otto Bock. Herzlich willkommen, Gaurav Mishra.
Thank you. Good. Good morning. First of all, apologies for speaking in English today in a German conference. I've spoken in many conferences around the world. First time in a German conference speaking in English. So apologies, but I try to speak slow. If somebody doesn't understand, make a point, and in the end, in the Q&A session, please feel free to clarify it. Before I start, I want to cover a personal secret or a confidential thing of a personal nature, what happened when I took this job in Otto Bock 4 years ago. When I moved from Scotland, where I was working in a similar role for another company, and came here to work for Otto Bock. When I saw the organization, such a big billion-euro company, which is now in turnover every year, and also spread in operations in more than 100 countries around the world, single biggest player in the prosthetics market, and combined with conflicting sales channels with orthotics and mobility wheelchair business, with never before has had a global sales president to head the organization. And there are regional presidents, which I will cover in the structure, and they are responsible for sales. And then there are people in the global functions other than sales are covering responsibility of global nature. This was the first time that we got this new position, and I moved in here. And I was very, very disheartened initially. I thought, how will this work? This company from 90 years has been working in a different setup completely, in a matrix organization with sales responsibility in the field, in the regions. And now I have to channelize this 100-country consistent message and drive key growth sales factors sitting from here in Germany. And of course, move itself was a big change in the cultural aspect. But anyway, I will cover this aspect of how we managed to get over that and how we use this global synergies to overcome. And Autobock, as covered by this thing, has had a phenomenal success in last 3 years, especially double-digit organic growth in the world since last 4 years, which was only 1% or 2% before we had the setup. So this is a case study which I would like to cover. Initially, I will cover the structure of Autobock, the organization structure, why is it complex, the product structure, and what are the ideas. Give you some tools and takeaways from this short presentation of what you can employ if you are in a similar situation like this. So Autobock Group is made of total turnover just short of 1 billion euro last year. And the group is made of course, primarily healthcare, but there are also other players in the group, which we do not get, people from healthcare don't get connected with, but it's also plastics, Kunststoff, also supplying to top mattress companies, a techno-gel material, which we make. We have a yachts company we bought last year, and also our own IT company. But the key is the healthcare, which we are going to focus on today, and has 3/4 of the total turnover of the company. Last year, we ended at 766 million euro with more than 6,000 employees, with its 50 country, with its own offices and business in other 80 countries where we are supplying products through our distributors. And this is the structure of the company. The president and CEO, who is also the owner, is a family business, 95 years old now. Hans-Georg Neder, very well known in this city at least, and has done a lot of things for the company and for the community. He's a third generation owner and heads the business and takes very active interest in the business. And personally was heading in a way the sales function before he made this choice to get me on board with this. So what we have here is we have the sales, all the functions which are related to the global operation. So here is where the sales is, marketing, finance, operations, strategy, HR. This is another thing which the owner changed to combine the two functions. And then we have the R&D function. These are the global business heads or function heads, what we call in our way. This did not exist before, and now it's part of this matrix. And then you have the business unit heads who are only looking into the product side. And then we have the regional presidents or the heads of sales in the different 5 regions around the world. So West Europe is our biggest region, North America, Latin America, East Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pac. So all of these people are in this shared matrix, and in this matrix, they all share responsibility of similar nature, which makes it very tough. For example, if the business unit head of prosthetics wants to launch a new feet in America, he can prepare R&D, 10 years development time, everything, and once it comes to launch, North America president can say, I'm not selling it because it's not going to give me the right revenue for which I should put in effort. And there can be a clash and a conflict because the North America president is responsible to deliver their regional sales and EBITDA. The business unit prosthetics head is supposed to deliver that product line sales and EBITDA of prosthetics. And then we are functional heads who are overall looking as the global sales and EBITDA. So everybody is in a similar clash situation with regards to priorities. And that leads to a bit of a tougher aspect to manage. At the same time, why are we structured this way, I should tell you upfront, is because the owner, the CEO wanted us from the very beginning to be very entrepreneurial in our approach. Everybody is locally able to do as much they want to do to achieve a certain target. So that was his idea of letting every managing director of these 50 countries or the regional presidents to be very entrepreneurial and take their own decisions in a local manner, because the business is very complex, which is the next part I will cover in terms of our product line. So our biggest driver, or the biggest cash cow, whatever you want to call, is prosthetics, which is Ottobock is the biggest player in prosthetics in the world, with approximately 50% market share, and also in some key segments, premium products like the premium knees and all, which go to the military, we are having 90% market share in countries like US. So total dominance of the market. Then in that we have the upper extremity, lower extremity, and the components which go on in the fitting. We have orthotics, which is, you would have seen patients wearing boots and other supports when they get a minor injury or sports injury, so that's bracing business. And also neuro-orthopedic, wherein people with polio or minor stroke incidents can get back to normal life wearing the neuro-orthopedics segment of products. Then we just have recently launched neuro-rehabilitation with the advancement of man-machine interface. The world is going on to combine the nerves with the machine, and that's the area where we focus on that, where we have neuro implants for people who have lost functionality, but the limb is still there, then they can use those type of products. And then is a big mobility wheelchair business, which goes into manual wheelchairs, power wheelchairs, and also for kids who have problems of different nature. And last but not the least is our own patient care, when we don't operate with a customer, but Ottobock themselves can do patient care. So the Science Center in Berlin here, what we have on the top floor is a patient care center too, wherein people are coming from Libya, Africa, everywhere, where such facilities are not available, and we are fitting devices to those patients directly by Ottobock. So again, it's also our customer inside our own company. These are the 5 different business units which are placed against each other. And if you see the sales channel for them, they're also conflicting in a way, because prosthetics here is selling to our own patient care, medical care, which is a customer, this patient care company. And then also orthotics, also selling to the orthotics and prosthetics workshops, which are our key customers for prosthetics. And the same is the customer for orthotics business, is this same customers. And this orthotics workshop sells to the doctor, and we also sell to the doctor this product. So we go and have a nice coffee together in the prosthetic workshop, and then both of us meet after lunch in the doctor hospital or surgery center, selling the same product against my customer. So it's a very conflicting business because of trying to cover the whole rehabilitation devices. Then you have the mobility wheelchair. Again, this is sold through our patient care. It's sold through O&P workshops, Sanitarts House, for example, here in Germany, and then dealers and rehabilitation centers where they're also selling these products. So we are competing against each other, and also our customers are competing with us back in another scenario. That's what we say a conflicting sales channel. And in a matrix organization where everybody has a lot of independence, what I want to sell and what I want to do in America or Asia, it makes it further complicated structure to maneuver around it. And that leads to a lot of conflicts and a lot of prioritization. And this was my worry, what I covered you the story in the beginning. How does this work? And now I have a new equation where I'm sitting in between the business unit and the sales in the field and trying to accelerate the growth from both sides and take a decision in between. They have their own interests, the headquarter has its own interests, and in between now you have a sales vice president coming in to accelerate and try to maneuver the forces in the right way. So what do we do? And that's how I'm standing here today still. What did we do? What are the ideas to overcome this and accelerate and achieve the aims of the company. Very important, first thing is clear planning, clear communication of goals. And the owner in 2010, when joined the company, he started this exercise of 10-year planning. We call it Washington Team 2. It's nothing to do with Washington, but the Washington Team 1 happened in Washington, so that's why it gets a name. May I ask in this room, how many companies which are represented here do a 10-year product planning to the every nut and bolt, what should be sold in 2020, for example, or 10 years from now? Is there any company? 1, 2, very good. So that's quite a good number. We do the same, which is great, because it leads us to clearly focus what we need to achieve. So it's done at the regional level, at the top-down targets, what the owner wanted to achieve in 2020 were given. And then we sat for 1 year in different planning meetings with different business units. And by 2011, we had a clear strategy and focus of how we can achieve an EBITDA of more than 20%, growth rate continuously at 8% organically year on year to head to, at that time we were 525 million euro turnover in 2010, and we aim to be now 2 billion euro turnover in 2020. So phenomenal growth for a company which already has a 50% market share, and the world amputee population is reducing. How do you do that? But this planning is keeping us on track. We are still growing at double digit over the targets. How do we implement this plan? People from the business unit and the sales are having a quarterly review of all the projects which came out of this planning, what we call strategic implementation planning process. All the sales projects with annual targets are reviewed and reported in the budget and tracked on a continuous basis. Then we do midterm planning, 3-year planning. From now, 2014, we'll be planning next month for 2017 with a 5-year horizon, what we call. So 1 year, 3 year, and of course, every year budget plan. So a lot of planning, but why it is helpful? Because that goal which was set in 2020, in 2010 for 2020, is trying to be maneuvered now annually, and every product line, every sales region, every country, the numbers are put on a black and white document, what we want to achieve. 30,000 products in the company. It's impossible if you don't plan well that people may lose direction. So that's an important thing of how you do your company planning. But how do we manage this whole plan? How do we execute it? It's also very important because execution is very important in this scenario. People may lose track on every day's what we call whirlwind in our business, every day's topics, and lose the long-term focus. So one of the key things which we started is project management approach. So in my function, I totally, and other important global functions, we totally manage the company by project. And one of the popular models which we follow is the Hoshin model. It's a Japanese management model followed in many big firms. You can decide a key objective, and around every objective, you can follow a Hoshin model type of project execution approach. In that, you set an objective or goal. For example, you have an objective to achieve 10 million euro on a certain product line. Let's say selling this pointer, and that's, you are the product manager and you want to achieve that. You can sell, or you are the sales manager. Based on that objective, what are the key strategies you should have? So those are listed here. So main objective or the goal, the key strategies, it can be through customer satisfaction, it can be through marketing approach, or it can be through better management of sales campaign, whatever are the key strategies. And through those strategy, you make up your individual actions for each of those strategies. So, for example, for sales, this here shows you an example of this strategy, and these are the individual actions for those strategy with the defined owners of each of those strategy, those actions, and the actions, if all those actions are met correctly, then they should achieve the objective. So it's a circular program, and so I talked to you about planning, we did implementation plans, we did a check and act. So this is the part of the act or the initiatives, how they are the key deliverables of the company. Like many other companies, we have also 80-20 problem. Our 30,000 products, but only 20% of them give 80% of the revenue. And this is where we are tracking our 20% of the most important tasks or initiatives, which will give us 80% of result. And tracking it more regularly, more closely by that sort of layout of the project. So it's very good. We planned, and then I showed you an example of how to execute a project management, what we are doing. Then comes, people can keep working and not know what is happening. Before my global sales function was introduced in the company, on the key products or key deliverables of the business, an American would not know what is China doing on that product line, or where do they stand, or how much is Western Europe region doing in that product, this thing. So it's very important, communication across the globe to share the best practices, and also most important, the results. If they're not doing well, then we communicate it. If they are doing well, then we also communicate it. Both are important. And who's doing, and the world is never going to be synchronized. In 1 year, I remember North America comes to rescue of us. In another year, there is East Europe, and Russia goes on a massive growth. And next year, it goes down, and somebody else comes to the rescue to have the overall company results. So it's very important to explain. And how we do that? A simple report in 2 pages, which tells on the key products, what I call the blockbusters, which are giving majority of the revenue to the company, and very important result, importance they drive for the company. So a clear LED display. Every month, first day of the next month, we send out a report to all the managing directors saying key products, how they are facing, and we show it on the clock. How are we tracking towards the year-to-date budget, which you can see here. Very difficult to point, yes. The clocks or the counters, LED display for the key products, month-wise performance, super goals of the regions, how they are doing, and the focus country for that product, how is it tracking to the budget of this year. Just a 2-pager around these 6-7 key blockbusters, which give us 1/3 of the total revenue of the company. Just these 6 products give us. The rest, 29,995 products are giving the remaining amount of revenue. So you can imagine the importance of these products. They're very important and heavily tracked and informed and monitored, and experience is shared. So another tool which was introduced to globally coordinate the activities and share the best experiences. It has not taken up so much, but we are trying our best because every software has its own thing. It's an internal portal, basically. We call it Sales Resource Center to communicate what is happening in different regions with regards to sales news, sales events. People are filing their important events. There is a big conference going on in US right now, and there are Chinese customers going there to visit that conference, but my Chinese organization is not coming. And the products launched in US are completely, maybe a bit different. And then they're going back and asking the Chinese sales manager, hey, what about this knee I saw in US? And he's clueless. But here we can share all these good things and keep people informed on the key sales news, the key sales events which are happening worldwide, sales stories, best practices. It's an internal platform. You log in, you can access it on your iPad. You can also see it on your mobile if you want to find information. There are business units over here. They keep sending all their product updates. 30,000 products. We do 200 new product launches every year from one business unit. It's practically impossible to make a salesperson in the field read 200 emails of what is the new product being launched, for example. But it is all stored here, and every business unit can see it. It's a common platform which is bringing the information and sharing it with the field. The field is sharing the information of what they are doing and sharing it with the headquarters. We also stimulate discussions out of this. We have a mini Facebook on that. If they find a new competitor activity or something important happening, they can share it on this portal as well, wherein we can write important things and start a discussion on a topic. And it is targeted to the relevant person in the headquarters. So, to summarize, I covered the organization, I covered the structure, what exists, why is it conflicting sales channel, and what is the approach we take to manage the projects, how do we do project-led execution, how do we do reporting, and how the communication is being managed in such a growing and a big organization already. Last but not the least, every time there is a question that we have a global brand. The brand is only one, Autobox. Should we have a consistent message and every sales rep wears the same color shirt and every sales manager talks one language? Then will it be better or not have consistency? I think in our product line and in our business, we need to act global but think local because of the complexity and the differences which are involved. We don't want people to act in the same way. The reimbursement, the payer who's paying for our devices, the governments, everybody's behavior is different. So why should we sell the same product in the same style? And that's what we say, act global, think local. And that works very well. Thank you very much. And thank you to the organizing committee as well to come and share my experiences on this topic. Thank you.
Ich nehme mal den Dank für das Organizing Committee entgegen. Thank you. So, Fragen. Wir haben Mikrofone vorbereitet, die im Saal herumeilen. Bitte sehr. Hier vorne. War hier auch? Habe ich gleich gesehen? Genau, prima. Dann arbeiten wir uns hier einmal so vorne lang. Bitte.
Yes, I have 3 questions according to this metric system. In my previous management life, I have also worked with the management system, and therefore I want to ask you some specifics how to implement it in a daily business. First, how do you prevent that your good guys set themselves lower targets than they really want to achieve? Because then they are safe for the next 5 years.
That's exactly my job. So it happens. The big tussle will go on from September to December before the big boss signs the budget. And he's already set the target. Next week, when hopefully Germany wins the World Cup, he's there with the team and comes back and he will set our good target for the next year. And then in the local organizations will do their planning, come out always lower than what is desired, and it's a human behavior because their bonuses are tied to that. And then we will go and argue and negotiate on one-to-one calls with the business units and see what support they need to still meet their target. So we put it all on the paper. We commit. It's also a software tool we use where the strategies are put in and commitments are made from both sides. And people like me who are in a global function role play a buffer in between to negotiate with both the parties and make them reach that place.
Does it mean that you are always directly involved in that, or do you have some sub-level which is coordinating these
there is a
targets?
Controlling and also group finance, which is doing the management of the whole thing. But we work together with the different parts of the matrix to do it of course, in my function, sales achievement is very important, and I play a big part in it, in all the negotiations.
Next question is regarding your reporting system. Of course, you get all the sales, you get the EBITs and so on, but do you have any, let's say, double check system by your controlling? Because sometimes it may be inconsistent numbers, not really meeting the month's end. So someone can always shift in what we would say in German, frisieren.
Yeah, it does happen, and every year we change our style of how we manage it. We go into the region. Till last year, the group controlling or the finance was going and checking each of the numbers of each of the subsidiaries. So I used to spend 4 weeks traveling from Asia Pac to North America to Latin America in the month of November to sign off their numbers and dig deeper into all the FTE planning and staff planning and why they want costs going up. It all happens in that budget process.
Understand. So your control system is relatively tough and also long time effort. And then other item is if a region is not fulfilling the targets. Sometimes it may be because sales is not optimum. Yeah. It may be just neutral. It may be some coincidence. How do you work with these guys who are not fulfilling the targets?
So first is the report, which I showed you. It's a first immediate communication to the world. Hey, last month North America killed us for this reason. So the word is spreading, and they are waking up. And others are also calling, hey, what's happening? So it stimulates them. Number one is the reporting has to be clear, that people know that I'm not meeting my target. There's always a doubt or clarification many times in our companies that people don't even know and realize it. And then the second thing is, of course, once the reporting is clear and the key factors, the key achievements of the company are clearly listed, then you can mobilize your forces to be directed in that direction. So I give you an example. This year, we have a big problem with Obamacare, right? And audits which are going on in US. And our targets for one of the product line, the C-leg in US, is not being met. Next week this Monday I fly to US with a team of business units where we do a dedicated review of all the activities, where and what type of product changes they need in next 2 years to fit the new reimbursement scenario and try to achieve that. So one is reporting, clear identification. Number two is how, while you realize the problem, how you mobilize the right group of your people in the company to go and address the problem, to go and help them out with it.
That's it. Just for my double understanding. So it means that you may mobilize people who are not working in North America to go there to help them.
It's not working. The external environment is not supportive of the style they are working. The reimbursement has been cut. There is auditors not allowing high-end products to be sold. And we lose sale of that product line. Now we have to change our style, how the sales force should sell it, what additional study and support documents they need to sell it. We go and do maybe a special study with military, or go and open a new talk with military, they can buy it, all the other strategies behind it. And then track it by that format which I showed you on those key task deliverables. Nobody does wrong. They are not going to do anything wrong or in a wrong way to lose their bonus. Their income is at stake, so they don't do it. But it's just how we globalize and channelize the effort to make us move in the right direction.
So, vielen Dank. Das war eine kostenfreie Unternehmensberatung. Meine Damen und Herren, hier vorne war noch eine Frage. Hatte sich erledigt? Nein, war noch. Und hier, glaube ich, ne? Und da hinten. Dann ist auch Schluss.
Yeah, you said that the position.
Natürlich kriegen wir.
that the position of VP sales was newly created, and that some 4 years ago you moved from Scotland to Germany into the middle of a German Mittelstand company, privately held, with language English probably from your side. What was your experience? I mean, how were you welcomed, or was it appreciated?
Yeah, well, I think there are pluses and minuses. I came from a completely different culture. Of course, it was not, as I already disclosed the personal secret, that it was not easy. Plus, there was cultural change, then there is also organizational culture to be changed, and the way I came in was very secret too. So the owner never told anyone that he's recruiting a sales president to come in and work in this company. It was a total surprise in a meeting in Berlin 10 days before I was coming that you have this person coming in. So it was never going to be a red carpet welcome or a very smooth this thing. But people in Germany, what I feel, are very well educated and analytical. And if they see that there is benefit of working with this person or in this role, there is a benefit, then they slowly get aligned to it. So things work out.
Sind wir so? Wahrscheinlich. Ne? Wenn die Zahlen stimmen, sind wir auch nett. Wenn Tore geschossen werden, mögen wir unsere Nationalmannschaft. That's Germany. So, hier war, glaube ich.
Ja, wir haben das Mikrofon.
Ach, da hinten?
Willst
Genau.
du zuerst oder soll ich? Komm, mach du. Mach ich?
Dann los.
Yeah, Gaurav, thank you very much. I have two questions related more to communication. You mentioned that, of course, it's impossible with that international organization. How are your communication channels in your specific role, but also with the other roles in the company? So have you have specific tools or what else? And second question comes to this regard. How is your, what you mentioned also, best practice or knowledge management organized worldwide? Do you have specific tools or methodologies behind that?
Yeah, the question of communication, I showed you one of the tools which we use specifically for our sales people in the field who are most remotely unaware of what is happening and who is product manager or who is, because you can't possibly travel to 50 countries, all the product managers of so many products, then they will never sell. They will just keep receiving the product manager at the airport. So it's a practical problem. And plus, we as a company cannot spend so much of travel too. So communication with tools like this are very important. One of the tools I showed you, Sales Resource Center. Then there are other business unit tools as well, which they use to communicate. And there are IT tools. We still struggle with the CRM function. But also we have a nice internal developed tool of sales marketing information system where all the customers' performance is recorded through the SAP system, and a business unit can see it as well here and then talk to the market on any given day. So those are tools there. Many of them, some are not doing so well, some are doing well, and then we have a big challenge to make one CRM system. But before that, we have to prepare our sales force to take these tools, because we believe it's not just the software which can do wonders for you, it is also the people behind who have to first grow up in their attitude and culture to take up that software. Otherwise, the world has everything available on this iPhone or whatever. The other question you asked about was about the, repeat that? What was the other
Best
point?
practices
Best practice sharing.
or knowledge management share, how this is done.
Yeah, this is again what you see on the Sales Resource Center, the sales stories. We win a big tender in Argentina. The person would be asked to put his success story on it. We win a new contract with a customer on a new product launch. We launched the world's most advanced knee system, for example, X3. And there is, it's the first advanced microprocessor knee which can allow the patient to swim or go in the beach or whatever. And our German organization is holding a big beach party, and they are sending that results of that to America. to hold a similar event and their learnings. So those knowledge and things are continuously being shared through those portals which I covered.
Okay,
Oh,
a last
right,
very quick question. You can answer if you want with yes or no. Do you charge headquarter cost to legal entities, subsidiaries in different countries?
That's a tough question, but yes, that's a challenge always. Sometime, to give you an example, a quick example, if the moderator can allow me. We just got a special rights to be the technical sponsor of first worldwide military injured soldiers games. It's like a mini Olympics of all the military people impacted. A big initiative by Prince Harry in England to do that, and Otto Bock got the technical sponsorship of it. Now, people will fight. Oh, this is a UK event, it's a British event. Although my country is going, but it's not this thing. I won't pay to take my customers to the network lounge over there and do that. Always, everybody will do that. Whose budget it is, right? And the global marketing will say, I will support the technical service, get the people, set up the stage over there, but not more than that. So this is always a continuous this thing, and people like me in global functions are always trying to justify, and the owner is also trying to justify at times who should bear the cost of what, without impacting that activity. So yes, it's a tough topic, sometime, but we follow one general rule. If it's a global impact and a global this thing, then the product management or the headquarter pays for it. If it is a country-specific advantage of that cost, then that country pays for it. Easily said, difficult to do.
Einmal da hinten, einmal hier vorne, da sind wir durch.
Mr. Mishra, one question. How many people are working with you in your core team in the headquarter? And apart from IT-based tools, do you also use group process tools like a sales conference to communicate?
Yeah, so question number one is very relevant and relates to his question of budgeting. So when I came in the company, I didn't want anybody in my team, number one. Why? Because the more people I take in my team, the less I work with people in the field, and the less I'm spending my time to mobilize and be a growth accelerator in the different departments. If I make my own team, then I form another duplicate functions. So we kept it very minimum. I have only my assistant and one more person which has been recently recruited to be global reimbursement director. That's all. Otherwise, I don't. The project-led approach allows me to take project reporting on different important topics of this company. And that is why the whole company, in a way, the salespeople become my team, than to have my own team here. It doesn't make sense. And I will cut the cost, what a nice salesperson can do in America or China, being I will take his share of money to have my own people. But the project-led approach, the genesis or the key why we went to the project-led approach to manage this in this function is to also eradicate or remove the requirement of having a team. Because now I can just use all these people, the action owners which I showed you on the slide, as my team. They report to me on the project.
Danke. Letzte Frage. Finale.
Herr Mishra, first of all, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have a tough question. If you see your metrics organization right now, and as far as I understood, you are involved in everything, more or less. You have a lot of friction in the sales organization and through the business units. You have you have indirect sales and direct sales. Do you really think that this organizational setup will get you to the point and targets you have specified for 220, or you plan something else?
Organization setup plays a part to a certain extent to achieve results, but it's the people which are the biggest asset which make things happen for the company, the people behind that. So I won't say that if we don't achieve 2020 goals, it will be just because of the organization setup. But if we are able to get the right people at the right place to execute the strategies, then most likely we will achieve it. In whichever organization setup they are. Of course, people are unhappy, he's not listening, I want this, and that is not happening. But if you have dynamic people who don't care so much about it, then yes, we can overcome this problem. And that is why in one of that strategic planning, we have a Do It program, which was started because we found that the company will lose 70% of the top management by 2020. They will all retire because they were plus 55 or something at that time, or plus 57 plus. So there is a succession planning, and we picked up 20 top managers from around the world, young people in their late 20s or something, to start preparing for being managing directors and international roles. And that was also done in the planning, which is important, because the people are the key to make it happen.
Gaurav Mishra, are you still flying?
No, well, little bit, but...
Little bit.
Yes.
Sie müssen wissen, meine Damen und Herren, er ist 7 Jahre lang MiG geflogen, also Kampfflugzeuge in der indischen Luftwaffe. So, yeah, I think it's a good preparation for a German company. Or yes. MiG pilot. Thanks a lot von der Autobock AG, Gaurav Mishra. Schön, dass Sie da waren.
Thank you very much.